Okay, today I'm giving some thought to these words about trust and faith. Behind me is a lifeguard station, and it's also got a red cross, symbol of care for the helpless, and an American flag. We need to trust these symbols if we're going to swim safely, right? We need to be able to trust the symbols in our society and those institutions that are behind them. What happens when people lose faith? When they're no longer trustworthy? When we cannot put our trust in the dollar or in an institution, whether it's a school or a police force or a Department of Justice, whether it's a church, whether it's a neighbor, a friend. What happens when we can no longer trust one another? What happens when we can no longer trust God? Believing in God is important because it eliminates trust. If you don't have trust, then you don't have anywhere to put your highest allegiance. You could try to say, well, it's my wife or my husband that I have my ultimate trust in. This person completes me. Well, that person isn't made to shoulder that much weight. Neither is a church or a government. Neither is the dollar bill. Our trust needs to be first in God. Our belief in God is foremost. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. It's also impossible to live righteously. You can act as if you're living righteously, but ultimately you know you're only fooling yourself and everyone else around you. You will disappoint. You have failed. You can try to make amends, but you can never atone for the faults and failings. We can feel guilt over how we treat the environment because we can't live righteously enough for other people's expectations. We can feel guilt and shame over a white lie or the way our lifestyle goes in comparison with others. And we can compare ourselves in a way that puts ourselves either above or below, always ending up with an erosion of trust, an erosion of relationship. The basis of a relationship begins in the Trinity. God Himself is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in perfect relationship. I would not be a Christian were it not for the Trinity, is what Francis Schaeffer said. We need trust. Without trust and faith, everything erodes. We go into cynicism. We go into anger or unthankfulness. We go into continual scheming in order to protect ourselves or to get something more for ourselves and never being satisfied. Put your trust in God. Why are you downcast? Speak to your soul as the psalmist did. Why so downcast, O my soul? Put your trust, put your hope in God. Hope does not disappoint when you put your hope in God.